I'm going to transport you into a story. Previously on Birger Tales.
Cessadoriac Ceneronsion, the Green Witch says. But you can just call me Essa. It's easier. Now wait a minute, Frogrin exclaims. Aren't you supposed to be evil? No. The rumor of the flesh and bone eating monster was false. But maybe then you're a finder of lost items. Mother's necklace. I know you and your mother were really close while she was alive. And as you gaze towards Essa's windows, you see they are covered with multicolored lights. And there's the locusts who think the source of the light is the evil familiars of the Green Witch. Those entities don't only eat your flesh, but your soul as well. We've got company.
What are those mysterious lights? Why are they following you? And will Essa be able to find the lost necklace of Gina's beloved and dearly missed mother? To get those questions answered, just stay to the end of this video. This is a Birger Tale. Greenwich Woods, Part 3. Electric is how the air feels around you. In the blackness outside the windows of Essa's hut, the mysterious multicolored lights simply float and does nothing. As do you, Gina, Frogrin, and Essa. Because of this uneasy standstill, the tension in the air starts to feel thick as a bowl filled to the brim with bean soup. What happens next, however, makes the bowl of bean soup fall down to the floor. Before any one of you can blink, with Essa's green hands, she calmly unlatches the locks on the very windows that the multicolored lights are lurking behind. Essa! Gina and Frogin scream in unison as Gina's blonde hair almost raises rag like a cat, and as Frogrin's green ale pint-shaped glasses almost jumps into the air, despite your friend's cries. In the following moment, Essa swings the windows wide open, and as soon as she does, they are inside. In what feels like a split second, Gina instinctively draws her silver sword. Shiligido protectively jumps in front of you as her baby blue armor clangs, and her yellow cloak brushes gently against your skin. Gina grabs Frogrin by the waist of his green and brown outfit and gently tosses him behind her. Both you and Frogrin now stand behind Gina as the reflections of the multicolored lights make Gina's silver sword sparkle with the 7 colors of the rainbow. Gina defensively points the silver sword directly towards the roof of Essa's cauldron room. The multicolored lights slowly float around the roof in a circular motion, just like a flock of vultures patiently awaiting a dying animal's last breath. But despite this, no malice can be felt from them. You can come down, Essa says calmly, opening up her arms in an inviting hug motion while gazing upwards towards the multicolored lights. No need to be shy. These 3 are just new acquaintances of mine, Essa says while meeting your gaze with a wink. As Essa finishes that sentence, the flock of multicolored lights freeze in place, as if someone just hit their pause button. They silently float there for a moment, then they all slowly descend towards the floor and stop at about the same height as your faces, except for Frogrin's face, of course. He still needs to bend his neck upwards to look at the multicolored lights. The silence around your party vibrates. But then, thankfully, Frogrin breaks this uncomfortable silence.
What is going on?
Frogrin shouts, looking at Essa with his arms outstretched towards the roof.
Oh, how improper of me.
Essa replies, embarrassedly.
I mean, you didn't know that these entities were my friends. Of course, I should have told you that before I opened the windows. My bad.
Essa utters, while embarrassedly scratching the back of her neck, as a square-shaped black glasses sparkle in the multicolored light's radiance. The multicolored lights appear to sparkle a bit more intently.
My bad?
Frogrin exclaims.
Is that all you have to say for yourself? You scared us half to death, you know.
Speechless, Essa blinks at Frogrin confusedly. Yes, Gina replies, while still holding a firm grip around her silver sword. That wasn't exactly the best way to introduce friends of yours, especially since we've heard the rumors that the lights in the Greenwich Woods supposedly eat both flesh and souls.
Flesh? And souls?
Essa exclaims.
Of course not! Where did you get that ridiculous idea from?
Both Gina and Frogrin raise one of their eyebrows in confusion.
Can you believe the gall of kids these days?
Essa shakes her head as she meets your gaze with a smirk.
No way!
Frogrin replies with a gasp.
That rumor, what false too?
Frogrin exclaims, shocked. The multicolored lights do a couple of pirouettes in the air.
Indeed,
Essa replies.
These lights are completely harmless.
The multicolored lights blinks as if agreeing with that statement.
So please, just relax.
As Essa explains this, you can see Gina's grip loosen around her silver sword yet again. Gina lets out a deep sigh of relief as she sheathes her silver sword completely.
As a matter of fact,
Essa continues,
there isn't anything evil in these woods at all. These past 200 years, my magic has made sure of that.
Essa curiously scratches her green nose.
But please,
Essa continues,
do tell where you heard this rumor from.
Well, Frogrin replies, as he also looks more relaxed.
We heard it from most of the locals in Feldham.
What? Essa exclaims.
And the rumor that I was an evil bone and flesh-eating monster?
Well, Gina replies, embarrassedly. That rumor came from the locals too. Essa looks at the floor as she closes her eyes and places a pointing finger and thumb at the top of her green nose.
I can't believe this,
Essa exclaims in utter shock, shaking her head.
Here I have been using my magic to protect Feldham all these years, and this is how they thank me? Sheesh!
Essa covers her eyes with one of her hands, bends her head so much that most of her face gets covered by her witch hat, and you start to hear gentle sobs coming from her. Well, Gina says, hesitating for a moment, before she empathically walks up to Essa and places one of her hands on one of Essa's shoulders. That must feel awful. It really does, Essa exclaims as she throws herself into Gina's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Gina first looks shocked, but then smiles and returns Essa's embrace, while soothingly patting her on her back. The multicolored lights float back and forth in the air for a short moment.
This was a plot twist that I never could have expected,
Frogrin says while looking at Essa and Gina.
I'm actually starting to feel kinda bad for having believed those rumors about you, Essa.
Frogrin's eyes slowly grow glossy. Essa lets go of Gina's embrace, looks her in the eyes, meets Frogrin's gaze, and then yours.
Thank you, everyone.
Essa sniffles.
I mean, I now understand why you thought those things about me. Having heard those negative rumors themselves, combined with how dark this forest is, if I hadn't known what I know, maybe I would have felt scared too. It might actually be high time to bring some more light into this forest.
Frogrin also walks up to Essa and pats her on one of her knees. Now when we've gotten to know you a bit better, I'd just like to say that you're okay in my book, Essa. Frogrin gives Essa a friendly smile. The multicolored lights make a couple of pirouettes.
Thank you, Frogrin,
Essa replies.
That means a lot.
Essa smiles widely as she bends down to pat Frogrin on his head. Frogrin grins in response.
And, well,
Essa continues.
You can't really see their forms yet. The light's forms, I mean. If you could.
Essa's eyes widen.
As a matter of fact, you actually can.
Essa straightens her black robes and wipes tears away from behind her square-shaped black glasses. Essa looks towards the multicolored lights and proudly raises her arms into the air.
After this spell, you will see their true forms, and I promise to tell you all about them.
Essa meets Gina's gaze,
including the business with your mother's necklace.
Gina's eyes widen and she nods to Essa with an appreciative smile. Rainbow light radiates from Essa's raised hands, and the multicolored lights start moving in circular motion as Essa exclaims,
Avada Elementaria!
What are those mysterious lights? And will Essa be able to find the lost necklace of Gina's beloved and dearly missed mother? Before I reveal that to you, did you know that you can get free dark fantasy stories from Beery Tales? You can, and you get them by subscribing to Beery Tales mailing list. After you've watched this story, you can find a link to the mailing list in the link in the description or in the pinned comment below, or visit this address. I look forward to welcoming you into the official Tales tribe. And now, let's finish this story. A flash of bright light envelops you as the light from Essa's spell dims. Instead of multicolored lights, you now see small life forms floating in front of you. It appears that every multicolored light you saw before were each, in reality, a singular creature. There are many, but one of them is red and looks like a winged fairy consisting of fire. There is a blue one that looks like a mermaid that drips water. Another one looks like a tree branch that drops leaves, and so on.
These, my friends, can I call you friends?
Essa asks as he looks at you, Gina, and Frogrin. Gina and Frogrin nod and smile, while you respond in a way that feels fitting to you. Essa blinks slowly and gives off a wide smile.
These, my new friends, are my nature friends, the elementals.
The various elementals make pirouettes and float about in various unique ways, showing off their personality. Gina's and Frogrin's eyes widen with amazement.
In your reality,
Essa locks her gaze with yours.
If you feel open to it, you can ask them for help whenever you like, especially in forests or nature. If a pet or a person is lost in the woods, you can ask the elementals to help guide the pet or person back to civilization. Or if there is a forest fire, you can ask the elementals to help put the fire out, or to save as many animals or people from the fire as possible. You can ask the elementals anything, really. Only your own imagination sets the boundaries.
Essa finishes as she pets one of the elementals on its tiny head.
They also want to let you know that they followed you earlier to make sure you'd not get lost. You were really deep in the woods, after all.
Essa winks at the three of you.
And Gina,
Essa continues. As Gina locks her gaze with Essa's, with visible anticipation. I'm actually not a finder of lost items either, I'm afraid. Gina appears to be about to say something, but her words get stuck in her throat, and she looks down on the floor instead. Frogrin drops down to the floor, lets out a deep sigh, and stares at the ground. Gina's eyes start to grow glossy. Essa walks up to Gina, gently raises her chin with one of her green hands, so she can look Gina in the eyes. Gina! Gina meets Essa's dark orange gaze as small tears start dripping along her cheeks. You don't need an old trinket in order to keep your mother around. Why? Gina sniffles. Because she is already with you, Essa replies. As a matter of fact, she's here right now. Frogrin raises his head. Gina's glossy blue eyes widen. You can see her? Yes, she wants you to know that it wasn't your fault that she got killed by the demon Alastor. Gina clenches both her eyes and her teeth, and she starts to shake. And she also wants you to know. Gina looks into Essa's dark orange eyes with her glossy gaze. She wants you to know that she is always with you, and especially when you feel afraid. Gina lets out a loud sobbing as sparkling tears slowly drip to the floor of Essa's hut. Frogrin's eyes sparkle with gloss as he sniffles and smiles. Essa, Gina stutters sobbingly. Thank you so much. You, Gina, and Frogrin leave the Green Witch's hut along the back alley-like forest path you first came from. This time around, the forest brings in a lot more light. Essa has apparently already worked her magic, just like she said she would. I'm glad for your sake, Gina, Frogrin says. Thank you, dear friend, Gina replies. I actually feel a lot lighter now. Gina lights up and smiles at Frogrin, and then at you. And from now on, Frogrin continues. Let's never believe any rumors about the person again. Instead, let us ask the person that the rumor concerns directly instead, so we can hear their version of the story first. Let's, Gina replies with a smile. Greenwich Woods sounds like an ill-fitting name now, after all we've been through, Frogrin says. Let's meet up with the royal family of Feldum and ask them to change the name of the forest. What should we call it? Gina's eyes light up. Let's call it Essa's Woods. Click or tap the screen here to watch another dark fantasy story from Beery Tales. Check out free stories and get early access with the links in the description or the pinned comment below. And a special thank you to all of my Patreon members who made this story possible.